Everybody, it's Eric. Welcome to November. Yesterday it was 70 degrees here, now it's snowing outside. But over the last couple of weeks, I have picked up some vinyl and a couple CDs I want to show. Starting with, I recently was at our Salvation Army, and as I was poking around the vinyl table, they brought out a bag of vinyl stuff and dumped it out. So these records, I believe, were 80 cents a piece. Starting with Uriah Heep. It's a 70s rock band, kind of hard rock, a little bit progressive. I've heard a lot of people in the VC talk about them, and this is a good, clean copy. It was 80 cents. I figured I'd check it out. Up next. Now, this is a record that I got for 80 cents, and I recently also bought a copy of it in Nashville for about $4 or $5. But I've been looking at this for a while. This is New York rock ensemble, Roll Over. This is another 70s progressive band. This band's notable for the inclusion of Michael Kamen, who is a film music composer, best known for that work. But for 80 cents, you couldn't go wrong with a spare copy. Up next, this was my complete blind buy. Mark Almond, 73. Now, this is kind of a jazzy rock, not quite soft rock or folk rock. I want to say Steely Dan, but not really, because I'm not a huge fan of theirs. This was a blind buy. This is pretty good. I've listened to some of it on Spotify. Definitely worth checking out. And I will include a Spotify playlist for the majority of the records I'm going to be talking about so people can check them out. But, this is where, being willing to plunk down 80 or 90 cents for a blind buy is probably good. You check it out. This one is gatefold. And the record was in pretty good condition. One of the things I find with some of these oddball records is that obviously people did not play them all that often, and therefore they wind up in pretty good condition. So as I mentioned, I did go to Dayton, Ohio for a book sale with one of my friends. They had some records there, but we also did hit Omega Music, where I purchased this Reckless Variations compilation. Now, I have owned cassette tapes of Reckless Variations. I do not believe I've had this one before. I think this one on vinyl for $4 was a steal. Restless, this was their offshoot of Enigma Records, which I've spoken about before. This record has bands like Get Smart, The Dead Milkmen, Straw Dogs, Mojo Nixon and Skid Roper, and Fear from their More Beer era. So I haven't spun this yet, but I'm definitely a collector of the Enigma family of compilations and whatnot. So for $4, I was down for that. So at the book show, I should say, they had a lot of records there. Most of them were picked over, and they were $1 each. But I picked up the Motel's Shock. Great cover. This is just 80s new wave stuff. Listen, some of it is pretty good. Nothing super memorable to me, but definitely something I will play again. And once again, I love that cover. It's in really good condition. So, and the insert and everything. I think that 80s new wave stuff is starting to be picked up from the donation bins and the Goodwills and whatnot across the country. I think people are realizing that there's a lot of this stuff that's listenable and entertaining. And a lot of it you can find for $1 or a couple of bucks. So, speaking of 80s new wave stuff, I also picked up a copy of Kim Carnes' Mistaken Identity, which has the big hit Betty Davis Eyes. Once again, 80s new wavy singer-songwriter stuff. Some entertaining stuff. It's very listenable. Nothing's gonna, shatter your mind or anything, but definitely worth picking up if you find it for $1 or $2. And then finally, another record that I also picked up in Nashville, but to have a spare copy for $1, Tonya Tucker's TNT, with, of course, the great gatefold image of her. This was the late 70s. This was her trying to be a little more rock and roll, a little more grown up, trying to be a little more sexy. She does covers of Heartbreak Hotel, Brown Eyed Handsome Man, Not Fade Away. Once again, more good listenable stuff. And it strikes me now that all 3 records I picked up at the book sale were female-centric records. So, at any rate, those are good things. Additionally, I got some compact discs. First of all, I got all 3 of the Sub Pop reissues from Tad. Tad were one of those grunge bands that fall into the category of also ran, but were very important to that scene. A lot of bands that were doing things similar to the grunge Seattle bands we know of have spoken about Tad being an influence, along with a band called Bullet La Volta. Maybe I'll pull out their CD and show that in another video. Good stuff, heavy, punky, grungy stuff. All you metal guys out there, if you haven't heard Tad, you should check them out. And I got all 3 of them. Same time, I also got the new record by Shovels and Rope, Little Seeds. Not listened to this a whole lot, but from what I'm hearing, it's very much in the vein of that Drive-By Truckers record I showed recently. Good stuff, worth checking out. I got this for a very good price, so I figured why not? I've been hearing about them. And then lastly, this is something that the VC has hit me to. This is Warlord by Philadelphia. Good hard rock. Playing this in the car a little bit. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to play it some more. If you guys haven't checked this out, it's on Spotify, so give it a listen. Thanks to Scott Waters for pointing this out. All right, everybody take care. Have a good holiday, and we'll catch you later.